to follow what it means. I'm wishing on a star to follow where you are. I'm wishing on a dream to follow what it means. And I wish on all the rainbows that I've seen. I wish on all the people who really dream. And I'm wishing on tomorrow, praying it will come. And I'm wishing on all the loving we've ever done. I never thought I'd see a time when you would be so far away from home, so far away from me. Just think of all the moments that we spent. I just can't let you go for me. You were meant, and I didn't mean to. But I know that in the game of love you reap what you sow. I feel it's time we should make up, baby. I feel it's time for us to get back together and make the best of things, oh baby, when we're together. Whether or never, I feel it's time we should make up, baby. I feel it's time for us to get back together and make the best of things, oh baby, when we're together. Whether or never.
Hello. This is Julius Cartwright, your host for Equity Smart is the New Cool. Why do we say Equity Smart is the new cool? Because if you don't have good credit, that's not cool. If you're not saving any money, that's not cool. If you're not budgeting and handling your finances, that's not cool. So we're here today. We just completed our real estate investing side of it, and we're moving over into a new topic, generational wealth. I'm here as your host, Julius Cartwright, to take you through Welcome Another Wednesday, whether you're tuning in on Apple Music or Spotify or YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe and you hit the like button and hit that bell so that you get these notifications when we come with our show. Today I have an individual that I've known for quite some time, maybe, 20 years. Maybe 20 years, yeah. So, but
it's longer than that, Julia.
Has it 25,
Yeah,
30
because it was probably about 30 years ago when I first came into your office with my sister,
Yes.
Valerie.
Yes. Yes.
And I was introduced to Julius Cartwright. I think I saw you maybe a couple times after that, but I didn't see you anymore until I came to your office over there on, what street is that on?
Superior.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's but what I didn't know is I didn't know her story. So sometimes you meet people and you talk to them and you don't know the story of generational wealth. But let me give you a little backdrop on Vanessa Collier. She is a Clevelander, greater Clevelander, I should say. And her career started off in teaching. She taught cosmetology for a little while, and then she advanced on into some other career readiness work as far as teaching and prepping high school students at Shaw High School, right there in East Cleveland, right? Wow.
Absolutely. But that was my third school, actually.
Wow.
I started off teaching in Cleveland at South High.
Oh, I remember South High. They had a good cosmetology
They
department back in the
did. They
days.
did.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful building, but, I would say that the maintenance department could have used some help. But I actually started off in Cleveland at South High, Then I went to Bedford High School, and from there I went to Shaw, and that's where I retired from.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Well, today we're going to get into a topic and some discussion around generational wealth. Essentially, what generational wealth is that being able to pass that wealth on from generation to generation. But first, you have to obtain it. And some generation, whether you're at the beginning of that, the front end, in the middle, or you're 2 or 3 generations down, where you've had an opportunity to, somebody's trying to call me, had an opportunity to, let me put this thing on silent. Yeah. Had an opportunity to be blessed enough to be in a family that had that lineage. And so today we're going to dive into the weeds of generational wealth and talk exactly about how your family did it. And it's in the real estate. It's in my space. It's in land.
Absolutely. So just a little background on my mom and my aunt.
Sure.
My mom's name was Katherine Johnson. She was known throughout Cleveland as the press and curl queen of Cleveland. Nobody pressed and curled like my mom did. And she could require top dollar for it as well, and people gladly paid her for it. She and my Aunt Mary Holloway, began their salon over there on St. Clair, actually. This is where it all began. But they were on 101st and St. Clair. The building has since been torn down. But they came here from a small town in Lamar County, Georgia, by the name of Barnesville.
Okay.
Who would have thought that Barnesville could ever produce these kind of women? My great-grandmother and my great-grandfather had 12 kids.
Wow.
So while their kids were having kids, they were still having kids.
Wow.
They were still having kids. And so they came here with little more than a dream. They had husbands that didn't want to see them. You know, back in the day, in the 50s, husbands, they really could not conceive of you having a business. They didn't really want you to work, but they really couldn't conceive of you having a business. My dad couldn't conceive of it, and my aunt's husband couldn't conceive of that. And so they had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations to just start the business, just to purchase a chair. They didn't have a lot of money. They had my mom had a high school diploma, and I want to say my aunt did as well, but that's as far as they went. And that really was an accomplishment for Barnesville, Georgia, right? So they came up with this idea of going to cosmetology school, and just think about that. They had children. They had to figure out a schedule, in terms of when they would be able to go. So it really all began with them, just a small dream that blossomed into something pretty significant. So they began here on St. Clair, and then later on they relocated out to 131st and Bartlett, and that's where the business really blew up.
Wow.
It got so big, though, we needed to do something else. We had outgrown the storefront. I came into the business right out of college. I graduated from Kent State one day, and the next day I was in the salon, but I needed to get a license, right?
Right.
So I had to go get the license, and while I was in the process of getting the license, my mom's partner, my Aunt Mary, passed away from cancer. So there was a moment there where I was working in the salon and really didn't have a license. My mom, because she had lost her partner and her aunt and her friend, she wasn't there. She was absent. She needed to grieve for, a moment.
Sure.
But anyway, I was able to go on and get my license. And I think you stated that I went into teaching first, but I did not. I went into the business first, and it was out of necessity because there was no one there to keep the doors open. So I came on in, kept the clients going until my mom could get back. And once she got back, I started pressing her about relocating because we truly had outgrown that place. There was standing room only in that little storefront. And so we moved up to Warrensville.
Wow.
I actually always had this thing that I did back in the day. I would get the sheriff's list from the county all the time. I would get the sheriff's list just to see what was on there. I actually purchased some property off of there. But I ended up seeing the salon building there on the sheriff's sale, and I talked my mom into let's get down there and get that building. And I thought for sure someone would be there bidding against us. You know how it works.
Oh, yeah.
But when she said the address and she said the amount, and I said bid, and nobody said anything behind me. So I was shocked.
Wow.
But it was truly, God sent, because people came by and said, are you telling me you bought that place and I was supposed to have that place, or I was going to buy that place. I was going to buy this place. Everybody was going to buy it. But anyway, we got it at the sheriff's sale.
Wow, you beat him to the punch.
Beat him to the punch. You got to act. A lot of times when you're taking a risk, you got to go ahead and plunge into it. We don't know a lot of times how things are going to turn out, but you pray and you go on. You know what I mean? So we did, and we were very successful there. But meanwhile, I ended up, like I was on the days that I wasn't in the salon, I would substitute teach. And then I was asked to do a position in the cosmetology department at South High School. Okay. That's where it all began for me in terms of teaching. So I did. I went to South High, taught there, and went on to Bedford. And then, of course, I retired from Shaw High School from the East Cleveland City School District. But meanwhile, based on that little investment that my mom and my aunt made, because I think they had like $3.56 between them after they purchased their chair, paid their rent for that first little place, which was right across the street from my uncle's church. So I always tell my children, everything that we did in that community was Black. We went to school Black. We went to church Black. We went to get our hair Black. Everything we did was housed right there in our little community, right down the street from this place here. Was in the St. Clair area. The church was on 101st. My mom's salon was right across the street on 101st. And so everything we did was right there in our little community. We spent our money with our people. And so back to building wealth, that's where it began for us with my mom and my aunt, that dream that they had. And then later on, as I was in the salon, I began to have, I guess you could call them visions of things. But I always did have them, even as a kid. I always was thinking of ways to improve things, thinking of ways to make things better, or I wanted to create something, but I never knew how. I certainly didn't have the information.
Right.
And then, we've always had this land in Georgia. But when my great-grandfather passed away, he left the land there, but there was never anybody willing to go down there. People had lives up here.
Right.
They had children to raise, they had jobs to go to, and they really didn't spend a lot of time down there. If they did, they were going to see their sister or their brother, and they passed by the property, you know what I mean? But nothing had ever been done.
Now clarify for our listening audience here. When you say the property, you're talking about the land.
Yes.
And what was on the land and how much acreage was involved?
Well, originally there was about 342 acres.
Wow.
So it was split between the majority of the siblings, and then there was one sibling and her son who owned the rest of it. So it was kind of split down the middle.
Got it.
But nevertheless, nobody was really doing anything with the property except keeping up with its value. This year it was worth this much. Next year it's going to be worth that much. Paying the taxes, of course. Thanks, Uncle Junior. My uncle and my grandfather always made sure that the taxes were paid. So I really appreciate them for that. But nobody ever did anything with the land. And fast forward to when my son came out of college, we kept having meetings about the land. And see, our family has always been business oriented.
Yeah, business.
We have investment clubs with amongst our family. We had just club meetings. What can we do? What can we do with this money? Or what can we do with that money? Or what can we do with the land? They never could come up with any ideas for the land, though.
Not to cut you off, but talk
Yeah.
about how important was those investment. Would you talk about
Clubs.
clubs?
Yeah.
Who approached you about investment club, and like how weary was you about investment club?
I was never weary.
Okay.
Because I was an investment-minded person. I just didn't know that. Now, my cousin, Joseph Sims, who is currently living in Texas, is an attorney, and he was living here for a while and came to us. We met as a family. This is on my grandmother's side. We met as a family, but we really weren't doing anything. We were just kind of meeting and eating and having lunch together and that type of thing. And then he moved here after he graduated from school, just before he went to law school. And he suggested that we get involved in this investment group. It piqued my interest. Now we had maybe a couple people say, well, I don't know about this because, people are afraid of where their little coins are going to go,
Absolutely,
and who's going to be in
Absolutely.
control.
That's
You
right.
know how that goes. But anyway, he convinced us. My mom was very investment minded. She was already invested at the bank. But I convinced her that she was going to get a better return on her money if she allowed my cousin to take it and invest it. And invest it is what he did. And they began to see a return. The valuation is done quarterly, and then you see how much the value of each share is going up and up and up. And so some of them, some of us have been made, quite wealthy as a result of. We stuck with it.
That's major. That's major. But
Yeah.
let me chime in here, because that's one of the things that we talk about, and there's very few families that are doing it as a family. I know you mentioned you got a family reunion and so forth coming up, but I wish more families would take on the task of becoming and putting together an investment club, because it does quite a few things. Number one, it builds wealth. It also teaches you about, ideally the stock market. Some investment clubs may just be in real estate or whatever, it's crypto, whatever you choose, but it's teaching you. So it's a teachable moment for the family. And if you're around family members and you're growing up learning that, that's the best way to learn it. I mean, you're not doing this in a vacuum by yourself where you're making money, making mistakes and making decisions. It's a beautiful thing for your family. So I applaud the family for that. That's beautiful. That's
Absolutely. And when my mom passed, her shares in the club went to me and my sister.
wonderful. Okay.
So her wealth is still helping us.
Wow.
I was then able to take part of that wealth and use it to manufacture my blow dryer.
Wow.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't have to depend on a grant. I didn't have to depend on a loan, even though towards the end here, I've had to do, some credit cards for shipping and that type of thing. But the biggest portion of the cost for getting that manufactured, getting my mold made and all of those things, I was able to use a portion of the shares that my mother left behind for me. So it's very, very important. And a lot of when we first started off, people were putting in $2. They're putting in, maybe $5 this time, and then they moved up maybe to 20, 25, and then they were up to 100, but we started off really small.
Right.
But we saw the growth and understood, because we saw growth, we understood the possibilities. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, I think that a lot of people don't really understand that sometimes the wealth that you're building has nothing really to do with your lifestyle at all. It's a legacy that you're leaving behind.
That's true.
For the ones who are coming behind you. Now, I'm a little fearful, and I hope my son is watching, because I called my granddaughter maybe about a couple weeks ago. I said, listen, I want you to come up here so you can learn my business. I need you to take over at some point the business, because there are about 3 or 4 of them. And she
Okay.
needs to learn these businesses. And she replied to me, now she's 19, she replied to me, she said, well, Grandma, can't Mom do it? Why can't Mom do it?
No.
I was like, I didn't call Mom. I'm calling you.
Right,
okay? Because my daughter really is just too busy. She's
Right.
too busy. And I just hope that doesn't end up being to the demise of the family. My son basically is the only one who has shown interest in the businesses. And that's probably because one of the businesses he initiated.
Okay.
So that went back to the land. He came up with the idea of growing hemp. So I had all kinds
now
of.
for our listeners, explain what hemp is and how it can be used, etc.
Okay, so it's a type of cannabis. However, it has it's a very low grade THC plant. And what we do is we extract CBD from it to make topicals. And the top seller is the pain salve, because just about everybody I know, they suffer from some type of pain at some point, and it's so good because it's 1,000 milligrams.
Wow.
And it doesn't take much. You don't have to use much
Right.
to get pain relief. So everywhere I go, people know me as the pain salve lady. And do you have any pain salve? That's all they want to know is, do you have any pain salve? So I carry it with me everywhere I go. But it was my son's idea. But when I first got involved, I was kind of I had anxiety about it because I didn't know enough about it. I didn't, and I had people in my family say, "Oh, my father would turn over in his grave if he knew you was down here growing marijuana." Right? But it's not marijuana.
Right.
It is a different. It's a plant that looks like marijuana. It does, and we hand harvest everything. Now, I will say this. Now, if you want to get into smoking, you can with hemp, but that's not what we do. That's not what I do. I definitely only do the topicals. But
Now,
the
you don't
plant.
have, now, you don't have to answer this, but like, have you ever participated in
Like
cannabis?
smoking the hemp or
Yes.
anything? No.
Okay. Say less.
But I will say this. My son used to, especially down in Georgia, he sold it to a lot of cancer patients. And I've had some of the feedback that we got, like say for instance, one guy did share with us that he was a cancer patient, that he had not been able to urinate in a while until
Wow.
he smoked that hemp. So that was kind of an eye opener for me, because I really I am dead set against it. I just don't want to get involved in that. But nevertheless, I think that this is going to be an adventure where I leave that legacy behind. Mm-hmm. It's a little slow taking off, but the potential is there. And it does sell. Not at like great amounts, but it does sell. But it sells, and I'm not even out here trying to sell it.
Right.
People call me, I'm not calling them. So I do see the potential in it. And I want to expand the line. Like I'm looking to expand the line from just a topical pain salve to hair products.
Oh yeah. Can use it, that hemp can be used in
And
hair.
the reason why you can use it is because it will penetrate the scalp. The epidermis and the dermal layer can be penetrated by CBD. Most products that I spent all my money on when I was in the salon, they do not penetrate the epidural and the dermis layer. They don't penetrate it. So you just got it sitting on the scalp, But we thought it was actually doing something.
So does it help your hair grow, or?
It does, because it penetrates down to the papillary layer, and that's where and yet it does not get into your bloodstream, which is a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Now, even if it did get into your bloodstream, you only have a 0.03% of THC. So it's not even enough to mention, but it's enough to do the things that you needed to do in terms of holistic healing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So yeah, it's something that I see as creating a legacy on down the line. I may not I don't even want to say that because I might just see a lot of profit from that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting in more time because I actually have these 2 or 3 businesses going. I still have.
But
the
I
salon.
think the thing that you said to me that's very important is this younger generation. And a lot of people like to say what they're not capable of doing or they're not stepping up. But I think if if we take our time and try to educate them more and try to slowly walk them through the process, it'll kick in. Like
Sure.
I tell people, my career, I didn't know what I wanted to be in high school and didn't have it figured out till I was about 19 or 20, and then I started to walk in what I need to walk into. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for you to just work through where you are and what you want to do. And when you're between 14 and 18 or 19, you may not have it all
Of course.
figured out. But I think you got enough legacy there that you've established and enough there as it relates to the generational piece to really get them when they really realize what they have. And sometimes you have to be around people that don't have much for you to understand, like, wow, I'm complaining, but wow, I got my family has this land that I didn't even think about, and people are trying to figure out where they're gonna live and pay rent. And
Absolutely.
I'm already set. So that's a beautiful thing.
But we give our kids lots of options.
Yes.
And I think that's to a fault. Because when I was growing up, I didn't really have a choice. I had to be at that salon.
That's true.
I had to go there. I had to wash combs and brushes. I had to fold towels. There were things that I had responsibilities there, whether I wanted to be there or not.
No, that's fact. That's fact.
Yeah. And so I learned the business from the ground up by just sitting around, looking and doing and answering the phone, and you better not let the phone ring longer than 2 rings. Because why aren't you answering the phone? What's the problem? But we like my granddaughter has lots of options. So, she's not focused in on these businesses, but I'm waiting for her to graduate from school, from Tuskegee University.
Okay.
And then I'll talk to her again when she gets out here and really sees what this is about out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And all of the potential, all of the wealth of knowledge and wealth and money that her family is leaving behind for her.
Yeah, it's gonna make a big difference.
It'll be a big difference.
Huge.
Absolutely.
No, that's significant. So how many acres of land is it?
So we still have 142. It's divided amongst 6 families. So my mother, before she passed away, she deeded hers over to my son. So he was then able to go down and do what he wanted or needed to do with this whole hemp initiative. So we started from scratch because it was a forest. Nobody had been there before. So
Right. Did you guys timber the land and
we did.
sell that? Okay.
We did. Yeah. We had to, start from scratch. We had to lay out rows. We had to buy seeds. We had to do all of those things. And again, a lot of that was part of my retirement, part of my IRA and all of those things that I had invested in to all of those years and didn't really give it a lot of thought. All I knew was, this is great. I'm accumulating this funds, but what is it for?
Exactly.
So then I was able to see what it was for.
Well, I'm glad he was able to step up and really look at that land and take advantage of the 42 acres because 142 acres, I stand corrected, because a lot of times we don't have that inheritance opportunity in our family. When you start looking at the generational piece, you're just going through and each family is starting from scratch.
Absolutely.
Now I do have to ask a question. There's 6 families involved.
Yes.
142 acres. How is everybody getting along? How does that work? Because typically, and just keeping it 100 in a black family, you got a couple families together, there's some turmoil.
Absolutely. When a new idea pops up, somebody is saying that they're actually going to take up the mantle and make this happen, whether you agree or not. Of course, they're the source of contention for sure. But people, I think, have gotten over the fact now that they see that something may come out of this, because they didn't know for sure what my son was actually going to do, or if he was going to be successful, or if he was going down there to make a total mess of things.
Right.
Nobody knew. I didn't know. I didn't know a lot about hemp at all. I'll just be honest with you, Julius. And I had anxiety about the whole thing. I'm like, how did I get involved in this? And why am I involved in this? But I didn't want to see him fail. I've always been a proponent and an encourager of dreams. Somebody tells me they have a dream, I put some kind of money behind it. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I do. I may not have a lot of money at that time, but I put something behind it because I'm a dreamer. Somebody told me that the other day. You're a dreamer. My family calls me Vicky. Hey. But I say, yeah. They say, you're a dreamer, Vicky. And I had to admit that was true.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had a lot of dreams. Some of them have worked out, some of them have not. But I'm a risk taker for sure. And this was a huge risk because we had to figure out where he was going to live because nobody had lived on the land for many years, like 40 years, 40, 50 years. Wow. Okay. So we had to figure all of that out. And he laid his first crop. You know, we went down to help out with that because we hand harvest everything so that, you won't lose any of the potency of the plant. If you use a machine, you're going to lose some of the potency of the plant. So we go down in that hot Georgia sun with our hats on.
Wow.
And one time we were down there, my husband passed out.
Wow.
He passed out, and I had to get him in the car, get him back up to, they have one store in the whole town, get him back up there and get him some Gatorade.
What's the closest city to that?
Griffin and Thomaston.
And
Griffin, Georgia.
How far is that from Atlanta?
Okay, so Barnesville is about 45 minutes from, I will say 45 miles, 45 to 50 miles from Atlanta.
Okay.
Now, most of my relatives who come from Barnesville, they've all moved to Atlanta, except for the ones that are up here.
Well, I'm glad that he did come out there and take a look at the land because of here's the other thing that happens in our family legacy is that we have something that we inherit, and since nobody's tending to it, we just decide to sell it. I see that happen here locally in the real estate game all the time. Somebody leaves a house to somebody and they don't want to deal with it. They instantly just, well, what can we get for it? Let's just sell it, liquidate it. And the fact that you had dirt sitting there for 40 years, that's a testament of itself that it's just sitting there and you didn't do anything with it, but you didn't sell it.
No.
Because we often will part from something just to liquidate and get our few dollars and move forward. But now you've been able to timber the land, make money when you cut down the trees, sell the trees, and now you're growing the hemp, and who knows what's next. What percentage of the land is covered with the hemp?
Currently, we're only using, he uses 1 to 2 acres.
Okay.
You don't need any more than that.
Okay.
Because once you harvest it and then he puts it in this machine, and the oil is what we want.
Okay.
See, because we don't sell smokables, we're not really interested in the flower as much in terms of selling smokables. But what we are interested in the flower for is the oil.
The oil is
the oil is what you make your products from.
Okay.
The oil is, even if, and we are going to move into mass production, hopefully within the next year. And so when we talk to them about mass production, they always quote the price in with the oil. And when we tell them we have our own oil, it's like, you have your own oil? Yeah. Well, where are you getting the oil from? We have our own land. You have your own land. I mean, it's almost like they can't believe it. But yeah, that's a part of the process that we don't have to count on somebody else for. We have it ourselves.
So tell me this question now. How do they use that? Because they use it in construction too. So do they use the oil in the construction, or they use the
they use the flour.
The flour.
They would use the flour. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because they said they're building houses with that and replacing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be more durable than wood and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked to a couple of people about the whole process and selling at wholesale. And so eventually we will do that, and it may require more acreage.
Right.
To keep whoever we're selling at wholesale to keep them supplied, we would need more acreage. So
Sure.
on down the line, that might be a possibility or something that we can do. But for 1 or 2 acres, that's doable for us, my husband, myself, and my son.
Right, right.
That's doable. We could actually get out there and work that land. But when it becomes more than that, then, that's a problem.
You got to start putting some infrastructure in place.
Putting infrastructure in place and maybe hire help.
So let me sort of recap. So we've talked about your journey and how you got started. We also talked about the investment clubs, your family investment clubs, and now what you're doing as a business model as a family.
Yeah.
What advice would you give our listeners as we get ready to close out? And what would you suggest that they do if they want to get in this space, and how to keep a family together in this process of building generational wealth?
I think a lot of people feel that they don't have a lot of money, that they're not supposed to be saving.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Think about all the money that you blow. Now, I'll remember being a kid, and there at the 105 in St. Clair, there was a big building called Cleveland Trust.
Yep.
And when my mother would do her clients, even if it was one, and back in the day, you only got $3.50 for a press and curl. But my mother wouldn't spend that money. It didn't seem like a lot. She would send me down to Cleveland Trust. I was only 7 years old.
Wow.
She taught me how to fill out the deposit slip and all of that. And I would go up there. I couldn't even really reach up there, but I would put it up there. And see, back in the day, people were very honest. You put it up there, and there was one young lady, what do you want? My mama said put $3.50 in her savings. Okay. And I would keep going for my mom. And that's how she really began a savings. And it taught me something. You don't have to have a lot of money to start a savings.
Right.
You don't have to. But if you are consistent and you keep going there to the bank or wherever it is, I suggest that you separate your savings from your checking account.
Absolutely.
Digitally, if you have it there, or even start an account at Ameritrade or someplace like that, a brokerage house, because it's too easy for you to just then click over and get the money from your savings, and then next thing you know, you have nothing.
And
right?
It's hard to go back and put it back.
And you're not going to go back and put it back. So
Right.
I would suggest that you either separate it at another building or go to a brokerage house and put in some money there. But don't think that because you only have $10 or you only have $25 or whatever, that's not enough to start your savings journey, because it is. If you're consistent and you keep it up over a period of time, you're going to have something. You'll have something to invest. You'll have something to leave your children. You'll have something to, start a business with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, it's been great.
It
I
has
appreciate
been.
you carving out time and joining us on the podcast.
Hey.
Well, Equity Smart is the New Cool is all about preparing yourself for wealth enhancement and what you need to do, whether it's something as simple as credit or budgeting or buying real estate or generational wealth or something investing in the stocks or business development. I think we covered a little bit of it all today because we talked a little bit about real estate, talked about investment clubs, certainly some entrepreneurship, some business tactics that we can discuss and look at, and the fact that the family had the fortitude to move forward. I appreciate all of my listeners. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you follow us on all the social media outlets. Once again, this is Julius Cartwright for Equity Smart is the New Cool. Thank you for joining us.